An old toy, a demonic doll, a story that defines new meanings of fear. Based on a story by Stephen King, directed by Oz Perkins, The Monkey is a horror experience that will blow your mind. Get ready because this monkey is not just a toy, but a dangerous curse. At the beginning of the movie, we see a man covered in blood who comes to a pawn shop to sell a creepy monkey toy. This man was Captain Shelburne, and the monkey he brought was a wind-up toy that was sitting upright and had 2 drumsticks in its hands, which it used to play the drums. The store owner first asks about the captain's bloodied state, to which the captain replies that it is not his blood. The shop owner refuses to buy the monkey because, according to him, the monkey was broken. How? Well, because its hand was raised upwards. But Captain Shelburne says that it's a good thing the hands are raised and the drum isn't playing. Otherwise, someone's life would have been lost here. No sooner does he say that than the monkey starts drumming, and at that moment, we see a rat gnawing on a rope. And as the rope breaks, some events happen, which ultimately leads to an arrow being fired that hits the shopkeeper, and the shopkeeper dies there. So we understand here that when the monkey starts playing, someone dies somewhere. Seeing this, the captain decides to completely destroy the monkey and burns it in the fire. At the end of the scene, Captain Shelburne says that I am leaving this big trouble for my sons. Now the story shifts to 1999, when we meet 2 twins named Hal and Bill, who lived with their mother. These 2 were the captain's children and were 14 to 15 years old. We understand that Captain Shelburne didn't live with them, and their mother said that one day their father went to buy cigarettes and never came back. However, we viewers know what happened to him. Anyway, Bill and Hal were the same age, but Hal was 3 minutes older than Bill, so he always claimed to be the older brother. In fact, he used to bully him quite a lot. Their mother was also busy with her private matters, so they both spent time together. One day, they were looking at things in their dad's closet where they saw their father's uniform, and they also found a big box inside the closet. Inside the box, they found that dangerous monkey. Yes, friends, it said on the box to wind the monkey up and then see what happens. And both the kids got excited seeing it, and Bill tells Hal to wind it up. Hal does that, but we see that the monkey doesn't move even after Hal winds. Then Hal puts it back in the box, thinking that the toy might be broken. Now in the next scene, Hal, Bill, and their babysitter Annie go to a live restaurant to eat. But while leaving the house, Hal notices that the same monkey is sitting in the car, and he wonders who put it there, although he doesn't think much about it and takes it to the restaurant. Now Bill was a pretty stud-type kid who liked his babysitter, and here, the 3 of them watched their food being cooked in front of them, because obviously it was a live restaurant. Everything was going fine, but suddenly Hal hears the sound of the monkey they had left in the car, and just then, the knife slips from the chef's hand, who was performing tricks with it, and it hits the babysitter, and the babysitter dies right there. You'll remember that Hal had wound the monkey up, which made it move just now. And as it moved, the babysitter lost her life. After this incident, Hal and Bill's mother consoles them, because of course it was a very traumatic incident that happened in front of them. The mother says that life goes on like this, and no one knows when their time will come. There is only one absolute truth that everyone has to end. Anyway, now Hal goes home and goes to the monkey and asks it if it had any connection to the babysitter's death. But just then Bill comes there, who bullies Hal again, and forces him to say some bad things about the monkey. The next day when Hal goes to school, he is bullied by some girls in his class because Bill had spread the word about the monkey throughout the school the previous night. The troubled Hal comes back home and goes straight to his room. His mother was cooking downstairs, but Hal doesn't talk to her. Instead, he goes straight to the monkey toy, and while winding it says, "This time, please finish Bill." Hal didn't do this consciously. Instead, he just wound it in anger. Now the monkey starts playing the drums again, and at that moment we see Bill returning home, who goes to his mom and asks her something. But in the next moment, blood starts flowing from his mother's ears and she falls to the ground. Yes, friends, the monkey didn't finish Bill, but his mom instead. Now on Bill's mother's death, the doctors said that she had a rare form of brain hemorrhage, but Hal understands that it happened because of him, because he had wound the monkey again. Troubled by this, Hal tore the monkey into pieces and threw it in the garbage bin, but the monkey comes back to them on its own. This means that if the monkey marks you once, it will never leave you. Anyway, the elder brother Bill was quite broken by his mother's death, and he didn't even take off his funeral clothes because he was scared that something might happen again. Basically, we can say that Bill was quite traumatized here, and since these children were now orphans, their uncle and aunt take them to Maine with them, where Hal tells Bill about the monkey, how he had wound the monkey to finish Bill, but his mother died instead. Now, of course, Bill didn't believe this, so he tells Hal to wind it again and test it this time. As soon as they do this, the next day their uncle dies in a horse stampede while hunting in the forest. Now they both realized how dangerous the monkey was, due to which they put it in its box, tied it with a chain, and buried it in the cave near their aunt's house, so that the monkey would not bother anyone else. And with this, all the 1999 incidents end. Now the story comes to the present time, that is 25 years later, where Hal works as a storekeeper and has no relation with Bill anymore. He didn't even want to know where Bill was or how he was, for fear that the monkey might trace them back. So in the present life, Hal asks his manager for 2 days leave because he had to go see his son, and we get to know that Hal is a divorcee whose wife is now living with her second husband, and Hal used to visit his son Pete once every week. Now on that day while going to meet Pete, he is shocked to find out that Hal's wife and her new husband are taking permanent custody of Pete, meaning that Hal will never be able to see his son again, and this is his last week with Pete. This was sad for Hal, but because it was his last week with his son, both the father and son set off on a road trip and stay at a motel. Pete now asks his dad about their family, like, did they have any brother? Hal lies to this, saying that no, he didn't have any brother, he was an only child. Meanwhile in Maine, we find Aunt Ida sitting alone in her house, where she hears some noise. Since Ida lived alone, she takes a gun and starts looking around the house to see if anyone had gotten in. But after ensuring everything, she starts going upstairs to the next room, and that's when she hears the sound of the monkey toy's drum. As soon as the sound happens, the wooden stairs of the house break, and Aunt Ida falls directly down, getting quite injured. But thankfully, she survives. Then she goes to the mirror and starts removing the pieces from her wounds. That's when she smells gas from her kitchen. And Ida goes to check the gas, but just then there's a sparking and her head catches fire, and she crashes into the billboard in front of the house while getting out. Meanwhile, at the motel, Hal has a terrible nightmare where he sees his mother in a very frightening form and wakes up scared. Just then, Hal gets a call from Bill, which was, of course, after many years. And here Bill informs him that the monkey toy is back and it's after our family. Now the two brothers get into an argument about who will find and destroy the monkey. Just then there's a short circuit in the air conditioner nearby, due to which the wires break and fall into the motel's swimming pool, conducting electricity throughout the water. As soon as a girl dives into the pool, she gets such a terrible shock that she dies. After seeing this, Hal realizes how dangerous the monkey's curse is, where even the mere mention of its name leads to terrible incidents happening around. Scared by all this, Hal wants to take Pete back home because Pete would also be in danger with Hal, but Pete wants to go to his native place, that is, Aunt Ida's house. Keeping Pete's wish, Hal agrees to take him to Maine. Now in town, after Aunt Ida's death, some of her belongings were being sold at an auction where a boy named Ricky buys the monkey. Here we also see a flashback of Ricky where he remembers his father, but his mother said that his dad wasn't a good father and was busy with private matters with some girl. Anyway, now getting out of the motel, Pete and Hal come to this town where they meet Agent Barbara. Barbara tells them about the creepy incidents happening in the town and how people are dying one by one in accidents. Pete also gets scared by Barbara's stories, and now he knows that his father has a twin brother, and they both arrive at the house with Aunt Ida's belongings. Barbara takes Hal to a storeroom, and Hal asks her if they found any monkey when they were doing the auction. But Barbara says that she doesn't remember anything specific. But as soon as Barbara opens the storeroom door, a shotgun kept inside goes off, and you can probably guess what happened. Well, Barbara was finished, and if that happened there, then of course, we see the same terrifying monkey playing inside. This means the monkey was back after Hal and Bill's family and was finishing everyone in town as well. Anyway, at night, the police arrive and tell them to leave the town, And we also see some hippies outside who were just in their own mood. Hal calls Bill because he suspected that Bill is in this town but is not coming to meet them, and he now searches for numbers in the telephone directory and calls a Mrs. Monkey. Now this Mrs. Monkey's number was Bill's phone number, and he tells Hal to bring Pete to him so that he can wind the monkey. If he doesn't, Bill will wind the monkey and Pete's life will be in danger. This means he was basically threatening his brother to come to him. Now here comes the twist in the story where we get to see Bill's real plan, who was living in the town, and the monkey was with him as well. You might remember that Ricky did buy the monkey at the auction, but he sold the toy to Bill, and since then Bill has been causing all these terrible accidents. Basically, he had created a whole trap in his house where he wanted to finish Hal, because in his mind, Hal was responsible for his mother and babysitter Annie's death. Because basically, the monkey was activated when he wound the key, and it took everyone's life. In the past, when they threw the monkey into the cave, Bill went inside later. Yes, he searched for the monkey a lot in the cave to get it back to take revenge, but he only found its key. Since then, he used to search for the monkey every day because he believed that the monkey would come back. So what was there? Ricky sold the monkey to him one day, and since then, all these accidents have been happening. Meanwhile, Ricky also goes to Bill and asks him for his monkey back because seeing the monkey reminded him of his father. Why? Because when he was a child, his father had gifted him a similar toy, but Bill refuses to return the monkey to him. Now Ricky sees Hal and Pete at Aunt Ida's house, because of which he gets a gun and enters the house and takes them both as hostage and go to Bill's house and asks Pete to go inside, and Hal tells them that you should never wind that monkey. Now Pete enters Bill's house, but he was quite smart, so he doesn't fall into any trap. Moreover, he reaches Bill easily. Bill now tells Pete to wind the monkey, and Pete does so, due to which a bullet goes off from Ricky's car, and somehow he survives the shot. But then this bullet angers a beehive, due to which many honeybees start entering his mouth through the hole in the car's glass, and of course, he dies. This means the monkey moved again, and it took Ricky's life as well. Now inside, Pete was alone with Bill, due to which Hal got out of his car and started looking for him. And as he enters, we see a trap being activated. Well, as soon as Bill hears Hal's voice inside, who was still alive, he gets frantic and starts moving the monkey's hands up and down forcefully, not by winding it this time, due to which the monkey doesn't play, but we see a change in its face. This means he was trying to make the drums play by forcefully moving his hands, if you understand. So now the two brothers confront each other, where Hal tells Bill that their mother's death might have been because of the monkey, but it had no intention because she was Bill's mother as much as she was Hal's. They talk a bit and clear their differences, and the three of them are about to leave the place. But just then the monkey starts playing on its own, and it plays so violently that the roof of Bill's house starts to break. Now you might remember that a trap inside Bill's house had started to activate when Hal entered, and due to that, a cannonball hits Bill and he dies. Then planes start crashing from the sky as well, and there's an apocalypse in the whole town. Basically, everyone was dying here. Well, the next morning, Pete and Hal both get in their car and leave the town, and we see the same monkey sitting in the back seat, where the father-son duo decides to adopt it. This means adopt the monkey, control it, so that no more destruction can happen. As they leave, they also see a ghost in front of them, who was a horseman, and he crosses their path. After this, the two of them move forward and the movie ends here. So this was the complete story explanation of the movie The Monkey.